that's not good. This fight against Francis Ngannou is not going to define how Tyson Fury is remembered. It's just not. But the Usyk fight might.
This is Jonathan Agger, Fifth Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Andy Clarke. Andy, I wasn't in Saudi Arabia, but I feel like I've seen you all week long on the streams. How's the whole experience?
It was good. It was good. It's the fourth fight I've covered over there. You can only ever speak to your own experience, and I enjoyed it. It was different because the scale of it was different to any of the other ones I've been over there for. The ambition and the investment and just everything that they put behind it was on a scale I don't think any of us who were there had ever seen before, to be honest. It was pretty mind-blowing. That arena was built in 2 months just for that one fight, and to have the undercard outside at a different arena, purpose-built, was, I've never even heard of anyone doing that before. So it was a week of firsts, and then we got something on the night which we absolutely didn't expect as well, and that's been talked about endlessly since. But it was quite strange to sit there and watch it, because I absolutely didn't think that would happen.
As you say, it has been spoken about to death, so we're not going to talk about the fight itself, but in going forward, comments from Eddie Hearn, as you'd expect him to back his man Joshua, but he feels that Ngannou would be easy work for Joshua. In terms of why he's saying this now, we thought they were going to fight Wilder, now he's looking at Ngannou. Is he just doing what all good promoters do and float loads of different options, or do you think they want the Ngannou fight over Wilder?
I think he's just keeping his options open, isn't he? And he's right. He's definitely right to do that. The kind of confusing thing about last Saturday was that I don't really feel like I know off the back of that 10 rounds where Ngannou's at, because Fury was way below par, and that's just a fact. I mean, he would admit it himself. We could all see it. I don't want to take anything away from Francis Ngannou, because I thought, you just look at the way he was set up, his balance, his hand position, his feet, his head movement. He did a really good job. And being a champion, there was no panic in him or anything like that. So I give him an awful lot of credit, but I still find it difficult off the back of that to work out whether he's a top 10 heavyweight, as people are now talking about. So I understand why Eddie would say that he would be easy work for AJ, because I think an Anthony Joshua on his game, I think, should take care of Francis Ngannou pretty comfortably. I think a Tyson Fury on top of his game would have, but he wasn't on the top of his game, and that's why we got what we got. So I mean, Eddie's there's nobody better than him at keeping options open, and we do want to see him fight Wilder, but we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And you can never be absolutely sure of anything, so you always need a backup plan, don't you?
Froch feels that Fury's legacy's in, quote, tatters after Saturday night. Can that be said, do you think, or do you feel like it's just one below par performance, as you said, doesn't define him?
I think it depends what happens against Usyk now, doesn't it? Because that's the really big fight. He won't have been happy with what happened. There's just no way he will have been, but that's not good. This fight against Francis Ngannou is not going to define how Tyson Fury is remembered. It's just not. But the Usyk fight might. If he underperforms against Usyk and loses, then that's what people will point to, and then they'll say, well, the writing was on the wall against Ngannou maybe, and then that happened. So I know he's going to be. It'll be hurting Fury, because it was a massive week and he was right at the centre of it all, and he loved it. He loves the big stage. He really belongs to it. And then he just wasn't at the races on fight night, and sometimes that happens, and maybe he'll know why, but sometimes you can just be flat on the night, whatever the circumstances. It's not an exact science kind of peaking for that 1 hour, but he won't need anyone to tell him that was not him, and it can't happen again. But I just don't feel like it would happen against someone like Usyk, because he knows that that's going to be a really hard fight. And he said all week that he wasn't overlooking Ngannou, and I believe that he meant it. But if you've got someone who doesn't put that fear in you, then that can often produce a poor performance. And I don't feel like he really believed that Ngannou could cause him any problems, and I understand why he didn't think he could.
Lastly, this fight that we're here for today, Chris Billam Smith against Mateusz Masternak, is it a 50-50 or is Chris a big favourite here?
I make Chris favourite. I definitely make Chris favourite. But there's some nice ingredients to this, because Masternak, it's his first world title fight, which, considering how long he's been at European fringe world level, that's amazing, really. And what it tells you is that this is not somebody that champions have been ringing up to give a voluntary defence to. Literally nobody's ever done it. So there are easier options that Chris could have taken, but I like the fact that he's done it, because with relative to what we were just talking about, picking someone who he knows is a genuine threat is the best way to make sure that he prepares in the way that he should and goes to that ring, like I say, with that bit of fear, which is likely to produce, squeeze that big performance out of you. So I like the fact that he's picked a proper guy. And Masternak is a proper guy. He's 36 though, and who knows, he might be going down the other side of the hill now, but this is it for him. This is his opportunity. He won't get another one, and he knows it. And so I think for that reason we'll see a good fight.
Andy, appreciate your time, and I'm sure we'll catch up soon.
All right, thanks.